Can anyone see me? Can anyone see me? Indicate that you can see me and you can hear me. I want to say in the comments that I'm being heard. I want to see that I'm being seen. Okay, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome back, everyone, once again. We'll be today on the topic becoming an emotionally intelligent parent. This is one conversation that I tell parents that's the foundation. Without emotional, you cannot raise a human being. I say this all the time, and I share with how can do this, to be able to teach our children how to become emotionally intelligent, right? Like the last speaker said, this is something that it wasn't a conversation in the time of our parents. Today, emotional intelligence is at the top burner of any thriving human being, right? It's at the top burner of all the life skills required for any human being to be effective, to be productive, and to be intelligent. So it is a conversation that we need everyone to get in here and be part of it. Becoming an emotional intelligent parent is not something you get at a beck and call. It is a process, it's a journey that you need to walk. It is difficult. It is difficult. That's why a lot of parents struggle with self-control. I call it control. However, the concept of emotional intelligence is at the base of the gift of the Holy Spirit. One of the gifts of the Holy Spirit is called self-control. The reason why you cannot take one step without addressing issues with anger, with quarrel, with beating, with shouting, with yelling, is because you've not come to a point where you can control your emotions, where your emotions are in check. You are still at the point where you run with auto response, right? Auto response is where you cannot sit still to process the event. You're already wanting to address an issue, even if you are angry, right? Can anyone hear me now? Please indicate if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Please let me see in the comment. Let me be sure that. Okay, great. Okay, great. So please 1 minute so we can call the coach to join us. Okay. Coach Enemy will be here in a bit with us. I think she's having a bit of network challenges. Sorry about all the network issues. It is the country we live in. Hello, coach. Your camera is off. Okay, great. Coach Enemy is here. Hello, ma. Can you hear me?
Good evening, Coach IJ. Good evening, ma'am.
Welcome. Thank you for joining. We have read your profile. We have been waiting patiently for this session because we understand
Oh, you are
how
live
emotional.
already.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Okay, don't use the unit.
Okay, great. Okay, great. So we will be leaving the stage for you, and in the next 45 minutes, the stage will be.
Okay. Good evening,
Thank
Coach
you for
IJ. Good evening. It's
welcome,
good to
ma.
be here with you this evening. Sorry I came a bit late. I actually planned for 6 o'clock. When you said 6:30, I said okay. Let me just quickly do all I needed to do for the six. Okay, am I live? Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
Yes, you are. You are. You have been live. You are live.
Okay. Okay, because I can't see you. I
Yes,
can almost not see you.
Nigeria just happened to me now. We've been
Oh, I
enjoying
get it.
ourselves.
Okay. So should I get started?
Please go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead while we fix our end.
Should
You
I get
have 45
started?
minutes. Yes, please. Yes, please. Go ahead, ma.
Okay. Okay, good evening, everyone. Good evening, parents all over watching me. Wherever you're watching from, good evening. Anyway, Rebo is my name and I've been introduced already, so I'll just go right into it. Today is all about being an emotionally intelligent parent. What it means to be emotionally intelligent, what sabotages our ability to be emotionally intelligent, the advantages of it. Let's start with that. And at the end of the day, how we can become emotionally intelligent as parents. Let me start by sharing a quick story, something that happened today. Almost all my I've lived in Lagos for a very long time, and sometime last year we moved to this place. And one of the things that I actually looked forward to when we were moving to this place was having a cage where I rear my chickens and all of that. Now, this was because each time I traveled home from Lagos to Benin during Christmas and all the festive periods, my aunties, they kind of had, everyone seemed to have space in their houses. So they would They'll have live chickens. My aunt, I have two aunties. They have live chickens. I have my younger brother. I have my elder sister. I have my parents. They'll have live chickens. I'm like, You know, the thing used to fascinate me. So I said, nah. As soon as we moved here, the very first thing I did was to call a carpenter to create a cage for me. And so last week or so, I got 4 live birds, chicks to raise. We woke up about 3 days later and 2 were gone. And we investigated and we're told that it was cats that actually grabbed them away. Cats took 2 away. I wasn't very happy about it, but then it happened. And then today again, I woke up in the morning and my daughter said, these chickens are stretching out. So, you know, they had, you know, when something like coccidiosis, something like that, they were stretching out. So I said, okay, let me take them to the woman I bought them from. I got there, the woman was not available. Today of all days, she chose to attend a function. And so I went out to get the things. I said, okay, let me take them to a place where they kind of sell drugs for animals. I got there and the woman brought out one small thing and said it's 2,000 naira. Whoa! I just thought, I said, you know what? I'm just going to leave the chickens alone, leave the chicks alone, let them just die and go. How can I buy 4? 2 were taken away. 2 now I'm going to start buying drugs for them. You know, it was not all about the 2,000 naira really. It was just that I was upset about the whole thing. So I was going to step back and I had a rethink. So I went back and I just, okay, I gave her the money. I collected the thing. Now, I was asking myself, I told my kids, okay, I went out one of my kids and I told them, okay, we're going to see what we can do to the chicken. I got there and I was going to go back without the solution. Now, because I was not emotionally intelligent, because I allowed my emotion to take charge of myself, I was going to go back. Now, these are the same children I have been teaching to always find solutions to problems. The same children have been teaching determination, resilience. When things happen, you take your lessons and you learn from it and you go. You don't give up. The same children I've been teaching have right attitude towards everything. The same children I've been teaching do not give excuses. Excuses are never good enough. These were the same children I was going to come back home and tell that, oh, I had an excuse and I just don't want the chicken. I am so angry. The same children I've been teaching them, but emotionally intelligent. It is the same children I would have come back to tell, oh, give one excuse or the other why I did not follow through with what I teach them. And what I teach them is not just in vacuum. It's not just because I want to teach because I'm a parent. It's actually because I have a vision for them. I have a vision, I have a parenting vision, and they individually have their vision. And I have come to identify skills, important skills they will need to be able to live their vision. And so I was going to come back home, and now here's the thing. I have never seen a parent who doesn't desire for the child to be successful. Nah. I've never seen a parent who doesn't desire for the child to live a healthy life. But hey, it happens. Where does it happen from? The truth of the matter is, as a parent, every single time you react to your child, you respond to your child, you are modeling, you are teaching, you are planting a seed, you are making an impression. Now let's go away from modeling. As a parent, every single time you behave around your child is watching you. You are creating a standard. You are telling your child this is the way and manner things are going to be done. You are constantly nurturing a child, helping them form their personality, creating an identity for your child every single time, molding their mindset every single time. Now, the other day I wrote something on Facebook. I said, self-confidence is not built by words of affirmation. It's actually action that builds self-confidence. And someone said to me, someone made the comment on the post that nah, if words can actually hurt a person's self-esteem, if words can actually hurt a person's self-confidence, it can also build self-confidence. And I said, let's look at it. Very many parents will write, oh, what are... That is why we write self-affirmation for them. But then we do not see it through. No, I said, your child self-esteem is hurt because many times children do things or people do things. Maybe your child has swept. Your child is not sweeping well. The next thing, you are condemning your child's efforts at sweeping. It allowed to cook. That is what happens. Even though you're giving them self-affirmation to say, your action is not forming an alignment with the self-affirmation. So it is why at the end of the day, you are not building self-confidence in your child. What am I trying to say? Many times, the things we do around our children, things we do for them, things we do to them, the way we respond to them, they are helping us plant a seed in our children's mindsets. They are constantly planting. It is not about what you say most of the time. It's actually about what you are doing. Now, the thing is, you say one thing, you do another thing. The reason why we say one thing and do another thing is because we are struggling with emotional intelligence. The reason we say one thing and do another thing is because we are struggling with emotional intelligence. Let me go back to the story of the chicken. Now, if I had, what is my vision for my children? What is the thing I'm always telling them? I'm always telling them that, oh, always find solution to problems. In fact, one of our communication rules in my house is, you don't never say I don't know. You never say I can't. I say, like today I was asking them, where's my car key? And someone said I don't know. And I said, it's not acceptable. You don't say I don't know. You always problem solve. If you don't have any idea where the car key is, you can begin to ask, you can offer to help. Who last saw the car key? Mommy, where did you drove out yesterday? When you came back, where did you put your bag? We are going to problem solve together. That is what you should do. So now, that's what I'm teaching my children, because I know that by their vision and our family vision, they need to be able to problem solve. I also teach them, we don't give up. Now, you never ever give up. You seek solution, When you are frustrated, at most you ask for help. Ask someone to come and help you. That is also part of determination. You are determined to get it sorted, even if it means asking someone for help, it is definitely okay. Another thing I teach them. So here I was going to actually behave in such a manner that it is contrary to what I am actually teaching them, because I was allowing my emotions take charge of me. So every single time you allow your emotions take charge of you, there is a likelihood that you are not going to be rational. That is what it is. Now, like I said, I have never seen a parent who doesn't want a child to be healthy, who doesn't want a child to succeed. It's not just about the desire, it's about the action. Now, emotional intelligence is actually the action that aligns the action that leads to your intention, the action that leads to your vision. So it is why the very first thing I will talk about is, you cannot be emotionally intelligent if you don't have a vision, if you don't have a goal. Nah, it is impossible. For you to be emotionally intelligent, you must firstly know what you want as a parent, what you want for yourself, what you want for your children. You begin with that. That is it. Coach Aja, are you here with me? Are you here with me, ma? Hello?
Yes,
Okay,
please.
I'll just continue. I was saying
Yes,
that
please.
every single
I'm
action is you planting a seed in your child's life. I'm still trying to lay the foundation.
yes, ma. I can hear you loud and clear. I'm at the backstage.
Sorry. Every single action is you helping them form an identity. So as a parent, emotional intelligence simply means, now we are getting to the definition, simply means that you are able, you are aware of your emotions. One. Two, you are in charge of your emotions. That is what it means to be emotionally intelligent. You are aware of your emotions, you are in charge of your emotions. Why do you need to be aware of your emotions? Because emotions influence our behaviors. Emotions are the very foundation of our behaviors. That is it. I'll share a practical example. Let's say you just had a good day. For example, you had a gig, you did a business, and you made some good money. You are so excited. Your kids come to you, oh, mommy, can I have this XYZ? It's easy for you to say, yes, you can have it. Why? Because you are joyous, you are happy. Remember the story of Herod and Herodias in the Bible, where Herod was so happy, he asked her, he told Herodias that the daughter danced so well, name anything you want. As a king, if he had sat down to think about it, he may not have told the woman to name anything. What if the woman had told him, okay, give me the entire kingdom and sit down and let me rule? Apart from the head of John the Baptist, the woman could have asked of anything that it wasn't possible. So why did he not just say, oh, okay, I'm going to give you a car. Okay, I'm going to give you a donkey. I'm going to put you in charge of this whole, because he was super excited. So when you're super excited, it's easy for you to grant your child's request. The request that may not actually enhance your child's path towards your values. The request that may actually be sabotaging to your child. So when you're super excited, it's easy to actually grant your child request. Now let's look at this same scenario. You are not you just lost a gig, you wanted something badly, maybe an opportunity, you lost it. You are feeling so unhappy. You are calculating all the time, the energy, the resources you have put into trying to get that particular maybe job or something, and then your child comes in to say, "Mommy, I want XYZ." Nah, how are you going to respond? It is the same request the child is making, but your emotion at the two different emotions at that time will determine how you respond to your child. So emotions are always at the foundation of our behaviors. It is why, as parents, to become an emotionally intelligent parent, you begin by understanding your emotion at every given time. Now, after understanding your emotions, you also need to be able to take charge of your emotions, because your emotions either take charge of you or you take charge of your emotion. It is one must take charge of the other. So it's either your emotions taking charge of you or you taking charge of your emotions. So as emotionally intelligent parent, what you want to do is to constantly be in charge of your emotion. One, understand your emotions, to be in charge of your emotions. Now, when it comes to parenting, when I talk about emotions, really, I want to let you know that it's not all about anger. Nah, it's not always about anger. Anger. We have different emotions that actually influence the way we respond to our children. You are sad. Sadness can make you respond to your children in one way or the other. You are guilty. Guilt. Oh yes, we've heard that guilt make parents kind of overcompensate their children. Guilt. When you are feeling guilty, you overcompensate your children. You are overjoyous or over happy, can come in the way. Of course, you are angry, can come in the way. I made a list of a couple of emotions. You are over happy. A whole lot of things can actually come in the way. You are feel envious. They can all come in the way. They will make you do things you do not want to do, because that is what being emotionally unintelligent is all about. Reacting the way you don't want to react, doing things you do not want to do. Then you get back and you say, I did not mean it. Of course, you did not mean it. You never meant it. It is the truth. However, you were not emotionally intelligent. It is why you see parents abusing their children physically, husbands abusing their wives physically, or wives abusing their husbands physically. It is why we see a lot of abuse everywhere. No one ever meant it. We never meant it. Osinachi's husband never meant to send her to the world beyond. No. No one ever means it. No one ever does. But it happens when you are not emotionally intelligent. One of the things that happens is that when you're not emotionally intelligent, you are triggered, right? If you don't watch it, if you don't apply yourself immediately, what is going to happen is it's going to take you from that place to a place where you are going to regret, a place of no return. Like we see in a case recently on Facebook where a woman was being paraded to have used scissors to cut the lips of the stepson. I couldn't watch it. Who does that? Who does that? Yeah, who really does that? She would have allowed her emotion, maybe bitterness, maybe hatred, maybe jealousy. Remember I said emotion is not all about anger. Of course, maybe anger to push her to that extreme state that she did not mean. She did not mean to go to prison. No. That is what happens when you are not emotionally intelligent. It is going to drive you to a spot where you are going to regret as a parent. So what do you want to do to be emotionally intelligent? First of all, I know when I'm talking about emotional intelligence, I talk about I don't talk about it like everyone else does. I'm very unconventional about it because I'm very practical. That is what I tell you. One of the very first things you want to do, very first things you want to do to become emotionally intelligent, like I said, is to have a direction, is to have a plan. That is it. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to say plan, to have a vision, have a direction, know exactly where you are going to. When you have your plan, you know your vision, you are going to empower yourself. Okay, know your vision, know exactly where you are going to. Now, because let's look at some of the reasons that actually make us not to become emotionally intelligent. Oh, we have a number of reasons for emotionally intelligent. One is our childhood baggages. You have not healed from your childhood baggages. You are going to be emotionally unintelligent. You are going to remember what was done to you in the past. I recently had a parent reach me and she was talking about having constant battles with the husband. And the reason is that the husband feels she does not feel she doesn't allow the daughter, to be herself around the husband. This woman is always very watchful, always very hyper vigilant when it comes to her husband and the daughter. The daughter is little. So when I got talking about it, she told me that as a child, she was raped by a very close family member. Now, because she has not healed from that, even though her husband has not given any sign of being an abuser or a molester, she just has that fear. She wants to protect her daughter at every given time. That is where she is coming from, because she has not healed. So it's easy for her to be snappy. When she sees her daughter in a place, and maybe she sees her daughter and her husband alone in a place, she's not going to pause and think, she's just going to be snappy. At the end of the day, she may now, even though she actually wants the daughter to feel the love and affection of the father, she may not deny the daughter of that. She may not deny the daughter of that love and affection, or that bond between daughter and father, because she has not healed from where she's coming from. So the very first thing you want to do as a parent is you want to make sure you have a vision. Where are you going to? Where are you going to? Because when you have your vision, you are going to make your plans towards your vision. And we're going to talk about that. Now, let me quickly mention some of the reasons that make us not to be emotionally intelligent in the first place. One, I said we have childhood traumas. Oh, when we talk about childhood traumas, we always think it's about the big things that happen. No, It's not always about the big things that happen. People think, okay, maybe rape, maybe major abuse and all of that. No, that is not all there is about childhood trauma. It can be any single thing, even the smallest thing that makes an impression in us, negative impression, can be childhood trauma. Can be childhood trauma. That is it. Something that is not, like I hear people say a lot, oh, I didn't go to school. I want my children to go to the highest. That is childhood imprint. Something happened. Something is missing in you. Something didn't work out well in your childhood. It is one reason why people are not emotionally intelligent. Childhood baggage, childhood programming, childhood trauma. It can also be another reason why children are not, and parents are not emotionally intelligent, is because of childhood programming. Like I was saying earlier on, is you are also programming your child. Your child is also going to grow up with what you have put in there. I shared on Facebook a couple of days ago. If you're not following me on Facebook, you should follow me. I have very interesting conversations going on. I shared I think a week or thereabouts, a couple of weeks ago, that my daughter said she was St. Leaf traumatized. You know, St. Leaf, this, I don't know what they call it in native language. I would have used it. She said she was St. Leaf traumatized. And I said, she said, I use St. Leaf a lot. I used to be bitter leaf traumatized. I have a garden. I never planted bitter leaf in my garden. You know, it was okay. Let me plant bitter leaf in my garden, because we ate bitter leaf too much as a child. We ate it too much as a child. My mom used to even put it in soups like ogbono soup. We used to make bitter leaf stew. You wash, you use it, you eat yam or plantain bitter leaf stew, put it on ogbono soup, okra soup. We use it to cook black soup. We put it in egusi soup. It was just everywhere. So for the longest time, ever since I became independent on my own, a woman of my, even right from university, I never used bitter leaf to do any single thing. I don't touch it, I don't go near it. So she said to me, oh, she's bitter leaf and she's traumatized. I told her, okay, don't worry, I'm going to heal from this trauma the same way I healed from my bitter leaf trauma. So that aside, what am I trying to say? When we talk about trauma, it's not only about the big deals that actually happen. It can just be one thing that happens along the way, you know, a statement someone made, someone's lifestyle, an incident that happened to us, that happened to someone close to us. I said something on Facebook a long time ago. I said, one of my early childhood traumas, my teenage traumas, was why today I looked back. One day I was telling my sister, and I said, I think we don't have trust in this family. Even amongst ourselves, we are not very trusting of each other, you know. And one day I began to wonder, I began to reset. It's not as if we've had issues to say, okay, I don't trust my sibling and all of that. We just have that thing back. And when I was doing my research, I decided to go back to our childhood and understand if we had an experience that would impact on our ability to trust to the extent that it is also in our family. And I realized that back then, as a teenager, we were attending, as a teenager, then back then, we were going to church, and it was Christmas period, New Year Eve. We went to church, and you know, Catholic church, Bishop Road in the city, and the whole church was packed. We'll have parents who use their wrapper, spread their wrapper under the pew, and lay their children there. They cannot concentrate on the whole events of the day. And that was how it was. You know, when they say Happy New Year, everybody's excited, running up and down. They said Happy New Year, and before a parent came back, her baby was missing. Her baby was gone, and she never found that baby. When we left that church that day, the baby was still missing. And afterwards, west. We kept listening out. West never reached us that the baby was found. You know, if somebody can steal a baby in church, that is actually the impression I have about trust. Like if someone can steal a baby in a church that is sacred, a church that is the household of God, that is sacred, someone can steal a baby and go away with it. You can imagine, you know, that is childhood trauma that actually impacted our ability to trust. Until we heal from that trauma, it's not going to be easy for us to trust. One of the reasons why I almost, like when my kids were much younger, having them visits stay on their own was almost non-negotiable, because I hadn't healed from that trauma. So you may have childhood baggages, childhood trauma that are holding you back. You need to revisit them, you need to heal from them. That is one way you can actually be more emotionally intelligent. If you don't heal from them, that fear will always come in and you always respond. And you always respond spontaneously based on that fear or from a place of that fear. So yes, childhood trauma, childhood programming, childhood baggages, the things we learned from childhood are definitely some of the things that actually make us not to be emotionally intelligent. You cannot talk about emotional intelligence without talking about childhood traumas, or it doesn't even have to be childhood. It can also be events around you that greatly disappointment and all of that. I had someone very close to me. I say had now because she's late, because she actually was a matchmade, and when the person that was going to marry her came, when the profile came, oh, it was big and high sounding, and she actually went in all trusting, and then she got there, she realized that the man was not even up to 1/10 of what she had anticipated. That actually broke her. It made her bitter, and she was always nagging. She was literally always bitter because of that disappointment. Now, these are some of the things that actually impact our emotions negatively. Another thing that impacts our emotions negatively is pressure. Oh yes, pressure. When we talk about pressure, physical pressure, mental pressure, everything. You come on social media, you see people doing so well, you feel like, where am I? I'm not doing well. It impacts you, it pressures you. You see some people say, oh, a lot of pressure, financial pressure happens again, a great deal. I hear this a lot. One time a parent told me that why she beat her son was because her son was always wasting soap. Every time he wastes detergent, he wastes soap, it's money now. She doesn't pick money from the floor, she doesn't pluck money from the tree. It's so wasteful, and it's affecting her. That is why she beats him, because of that waste. He uses the toothpaste. On that 2 weeks, a tube is finished. What is he doing? His waste. Financial pressure can actually financial pressure, mental pressure, anything. I have just 45 minutes, and the time will not be enough for me to talk about everything really. But I know you are picking what you are picking. So pressure can actually also make you not to be emotionally intelligent. Another reason that makes us not to be emotionally intelligent is because we do not have skills. Oh yes, for very many parents, we parent by default. We parent that by default. Our parents did it and got away with it, and we are doing it, and we are doing it. See, one thing I always say is, the fact that your parents did it and got away with it doesn't mean you will do it and get away with it. Bear that at the back of your mind. Your parents may not have been right, or they were not right, but they got away with it. But times have changed. Remember, people didn't have as much voice as they have today. Remember, today, I don't know why people still are careless in this era of internet, where before you say Jacobism, your face is somewhere, your picture is somewhere. Hey, no. And I also tell people, just yesterday I was sharing in my community that, see, imagine a parent, a man who is always abusing the wife, calls the wife all sorts of manners, and the wife is taking it, she's docile, so she just takes everything, or not docile necessarily, maybe she has the capacity to take in everything, so she's taking in everything and not complaining. So now remember, you are planting a seed, you are making an impact. Now imagine if this child grows up, grows older, and the child gets married to someone who is not of that orientation, and then they have an issue, right? You call me names, you want to hit me, I don't take it, and that is why they begin to clash. And in the process, one thing leads to another, and a life is lost. So who actually is responsible? The parent who modeled, who planted, or the child? These days, people speak up more. Times have passed. We are no longer in the industrial era. Times have passed. In church on Sunday, I was teaching my teenagers about industrial revolution and gender role revolution. I was teaching them these basic things. Times have so passed that the things that work for your parents may not actually work for you. Unfortunately, our parents haven't done that. We have been programmed to think, oh, it is the right thing to do. We have been programmed to see them as a way of life. So one of the things you want to realize is that what works for you may not work for your parent. What works for your parent may not work for you. What is working for you may not work for your child. You want to bear that at the back of your mind. So you want to begin to unlearn some of the things you learned. Want to unlearn some of the things you learned growing up. Okay, those are the 4 reasons I said we actually are emotionally unintelligent. I said childhood baggages. I said lack of skills. I said pressure. I said programming. I don't want to put baggages and I don't want to put a trauma and programming in the same place, because trauma actually events that happen and they actually program us, but there are just things like our parents said to us that just happened, you know. For example, one major thing I always refer to when I talk about things like this is education. Our mindset about education in this part of the world is such that if a child is struggling in school, the child is a failure. If a child is not doing well, the child is a failure. So because of that, parents are agitated, they are tensed, they are worried. You see, parents literally, physically abusing their children, verbally abusing their children because the children are not doing well. Now, come to think of it, when you're thinking up as a parent and think along with me, what is the use for education? Education is an economic tool. Education is an economic tool. The major purpose of education is for a child to get out of school and get a job. That is it. That was during the industrial era. It was about that. I remember when my dad actually graduated from the University of Ibadan. According to him, upon graduation, he had 3 offers. He had 3 job offers. Federal government, state government, and one multinational company back then. He had 3 job offers because he went to school. They were very few. But today, going to school does not guarantee economic stability. No, we have the likes of Cosmo Maduka of Kosharis Motors. We have the likes of what's the name? Vicky James of Vicky James Fashion House. We have the likes of Davido and all of that. So what does that tell you? We have 1,000,001 people. What does that tell you? It simply tells you that, see, education does not really, is not a sole guarantee anymore to economic stability. Yet we have been so programmed to believe that education is all, and now we can beat our children, we abuse them verbally, physically, because when they struggle. Let me ask you, if you grew up and when you were growing up, education was not such a big deal. You saw your parents succeed so much without so much education, and you also succeed without education. Nobody forced you, nobody pressured you, nobody condemned you or complained about your education and all of that. You are likely going to have that attitude towards your children today. But hey, no, because we have been programmed that way, so we are still having the same attitude towards our children today. So now these are the 4 things I said actually impact our emotions and make us to be emotionally intelligent. Now remember that I said you need to understand your emotions, what you feel per time, and you need to be in charge of your emotions. Your emotions have no right to be in charge of you. If your emotions are in charge of you, you are going to ruin yourself, you are going to ruin your child. You are going to say, I didn't mean to. It's not about what you meant to do, it's actually what you did. It's not about what you meant to do, it's what you did. Don't be in charge of your emotions, we actually make you do things you did not mean to. You always need to be in charge of your emotions. Now, how are you going to be in charge of your emotions? Let's go there. One, I said, well, I was supposed to have finished 3 minutes ago, but since I'm still here waiting for Coach IG, I do hope I am live. I'm not talking to myself because, hey, I don't kind of get this. You know, I'm not seeing Coach IJ. Anyways, let me just take the next 5-10 minutes to wrap up and how Coach IJ joins me soon. I believe network is place, but okay, let's go. Here are the first things you need to do to become emotionally intelligent as a parent. You need to have a clear vision, a clear direction. I've talked about that, and I will explain what it means. Have a clear vision, have a clear direction of what you want to give to your child. It's not just having a vision. Understand what kind of experience you want to give your child. I always say to my parents in my community that you want to sit back and ask yourself, 10 years to come, 20 years to come, your child is on national TV. Your child is talking about you. Your child is remembering some of his or her childhood experiences. Oh, My mom in the morning back then, when she wants to wake me up, she used to wake me up like this. My mom, I was telling my children the other day that I read somewhere where a woman, a girl actually made first class. I think in the University of Benin or something, University of Lagos or something like that. I think she was the best graduating student for that year. And she said from when she was 12, her mom made her read, I think 3 hours a day. 3 hours a day from when she was 12. Her mom made her read 3 hours a day. So your child, a time will come, whether your child will be on national TV, or your child will just be an ordinary Facebook user, or your child will be a king, your child will be a king, queen. A time will come when your child will have to refer to how he or she was raised. What do you want them to talk about? What about you do you want them to talk about? What do you want them to say about you? What do you want them to say about you? You need to look at that. So that will determine the experience you want to give to your child. Because the experience your child is having, the experience your child has, your child will talk about. So you want to see, what experience do I want to give my child? You want to be very sure of the experience. I want my child to be happy, to be confident, to be energetic, to be healthy, to be outspoken, to be bold, to be empathetic, to be kind, to be elegant. What kind of to be smart? What kind of experience you want to give your child? Now, that's one. Secondly, you need to understand the factors that may enhance or hinder your ability to give such experiences to your child. You want to understand the factors. I told you my emotional intelligence class are very unconventional. It's not the regular ones here. So, what factors that will either enhance, make it possible for you to give your child that experience, or make it impossible for you to give your child that experience? You want to sit back as a parent, have them listed out. The three is understand the child you have and the role your child has to play in all these things. Yes, understand the child you have. I have a book, Understanding Your Child. It's an amazing book. I always encourage parents to get. I thought I had it here. Unfortunately, I don't have it here. I think I have it in the room because actually it's my auntie room. Okay, so understand the experience, understand the role your child has to play. Because yes, parenting is about you, you are the parent. However, your child has a role to play. There are certain expectations your child is expected to meet. So you want to understand the role your child has to play in it, understand your child's age, why your child is not able to meet expectations, understand your child's temperament, understand your child's learning style, why your child is not learning despite the fact that you are teaching when education is important to you, understand your child's love language, why your child seek validation outside, despite the fact that you are showing love to your child, because you want your child to feel loved. One of the experiences you want to give your child is your child to feel loved. That is the experience. So you want to now understand, okay, that is the experience I want to give my child, right? What role does my child have to play? How does my child feel loved? That way you can understand your child very well and understand the experience, understand how to make your child have that experience. 3, understand your child. Okay, I've talked about that. Be aware of your capacity. Be aware of your capacity, of your ready capacity to actually give your child that experience. Let me explain what I mean. Be aware of your ready capacity to give your child that experience. Let me tell you what I mean. Now, the truth of the matter is, when we were growing up, a lot of things yes, our parents did some things to us, very good, very bad. So when you grew up, if you grew up in a place where you were allowed to speak your mind, you were confident, depending on how you were programmed, you are already okay. I'm just struggling with the words, I don't know why. If you grew up in a place where you were being very patient, where your parents were very patient, or the environment was very patient, the environment was not so hostile to you, there is every likelihood that you have patience, kindness in you, and it's easy for you to give that experience to your child. You have the natural capacity for that. So it's easy for you to give that experience to your child. But if you grew up in an environment where it was very hostile for you, there's every possibility that you also have hostility in you. So giving patience, tolerance to your child may not be there. So you want to sit back and look at. I have a friend who is super calm and patient. I tell her that Even in the face of a storm, she is super patient and calm. That kind of a person, it's easy for her to give patience and calm to her child. So you want to understand what you have. Your temperament plays a role in your innate capacity. You're not the way you were nurtured plays a role in all of them. Your childhood programming, your traumas, everything. The way you were raised plays a great role in what you already have again. This is why you must go back and reparent yourself. I have a YouTube channel and parenting with Amy Urego. You want to go there and see some of the things I have there. I have amazing resource there. Okay, I've talked about being aware of your capacity. Be aware of what you need to do to give that experience. Be aware of what you need. Okay, Coach IJ, I went on talking because I didn't see you. Now that you are back, let me take the next 2 minutes to wrap up quickly. Be aware of what you need to give, or what you need to give that experience to your child. What do you need to give the experience you want to give to your child? Seek knowledge is the next one. Seek knowledge. You must seek knowledge. We cannot talk enough about seeking knowledge. Seeking knowledge is very important. A lot of us think, oh, we know it all. Nah, you need to seek knowledge. You need to seek knowledge, constantly seeking knowledge. Sometimes we react to our children, not because children are guilty, not because they have done something. I have a course, 16 ways to discipline a child without flogging. If you go through that course, you will not flog your child again. You realize the reasons your child is actually doing what they are doing, and you have alternative ways to act. Because yes, I was talking to a parent. She was telling me about something, about what consequence is she going to give to the child. She doesn't want to beat. She doesn't want the child to write maybe something like, I will not make friends again, that kind of thing. Well, I told her your goal is to rewire your child's brain. Your goal is for the child to behave, right? So whatever consequence you are giving should be focused on helping that child behave. Whatever consequence you are giving should be focused on helping that child behave. So you need to seek knowledge, constantly seek knowledge, because the truth of the matter is, when it comes to anger, we are triggered because our children do something, they misbehave. Either they are doing something we don't want them to do, or they are doing something, they are not doing something we want them to do. So you need to seek knowledge and understand how to deal at every given time. How to deal. I always say every behavior is a communication. What is your child even communicating? Your child is communicating something to you, whether as an infant, as a toddler, as a school-age child, as a preteen, as a teen. Your child is always communicating to you. So you need knowledge to be able to understand what your child is communicating to you. Because one of the reasons why we are feeling because of communication gap. So when you understand what your child is communicating to you, it becomes easy for you to calm down and be on the same level with your child. So you need to the next one is you need to unlearn your childhood programming. I've talked about that. You need to heal from your childhood programming. You need to drop your childhood baggages. And lastly, you need to work on your self-care. It's very important that you work on your self-care, because pressure is one of the reasons why we are actually so unintelligent. I remember one time, my daughter was very small. She was 3 then, about 3 or thereabouts, within the neighborhood of 3. And I was at home on Saturday. My husband was lying in bed. I was cooking in the kitchen. I was attending to my kids, and I had 2 then. I was attending to my kids. I think I was pregnant or thereabouts, and my husband was in the room pressing his phone, and I was doing laundry. Even though I was using the machine, I was in the kitchen. Everything was just overwhelming. And my daughter came to ask me for something. She had asked, and I told her no, and she went. Because she can be persistent, she came back to ask again, and I got so furious. I remember then beating her up so much that I regretted. You know why? Because I was angry. I was overwhelmed. I had a lot to do. My mother wasn't coming first to help me out. So I was angry because I was pressured. That was why I did that to her. And guess what? Persistence is something, a skill I want them to learn. And this was a child learning them and telling me that she was a persistent child, trying to be persistent. And there I was beating her. It is exactly what happens all the time. When you are not emotionally intelligent, your actions will not align with your intentions. Your action will not align with your vision. One of my visions is having children who are persistent, who are determined, who are resilient, who do not give up. Things happen, they bounce back, and they go back. You know, they don't give up. Who can problem solve? I ask you for something today. I tell them, who can present their cases. I tell my children, present your case. You want something from me and I say no, then you don't have to take my no, hook, line, and sinker. You can go back and present your case. Come and convince me that you want this thing and why you want it, and we'll look at it together. And if I'm convinced, then why not? We You get it. Now there was a child who was already doing that at 3, less than 3 thereabouts. She was doing that, and I was upset and actually beating her because I was not emotionally intelligent. I hope this story actually drives home the message I've been preaching since. Because I was not emotionally intelligent, I wasn't able to pause and breathe and realize that, hey, it's actually what I want this girl is doing. Anyways, that's about all. Now, lastly, what I want to tell you before Coach IJ, if you're hearing me, please, you can come on. You can come now. I'm done. I'm done. Whatever I'm going to be saying next after this is just to wait for you to come. One of the things I want you to realize as parents is that it is never an emergency. It is never an emergency. Whether you are responding to your child has misbehaved, your child has asked you a question, it's never an emergency. Being an emotionally intelligent parent means you are able to pause, breathe, and actually deliberately align your intentions with your action. Align your actions with your intentions. For example, you're able to pause and say, okay, what am I teaching from this? Because I was able to pause a bit, that was why I realized that, okay, that chicken would be a perfect way for me to reinforce what I'm teaching my children. So you need to always be able to pause. It is never an emergency. Whether your child misbehaves, your child asks a question, something is happening, it is never an emergency. Of course, except a house is born, a life is going to be lost. It is never an emergency. Thank you so much, Coach IJ, for the opportunity. Hello. I can't hear you.
Oh, really?
I can hear you now.
Okay, great. Wow, this session was an amazing one. I know, Coach Enemy, you can see now, see my 3 pages. I know you with, um, if we continue, it's not going to end. And for the records,
Yeah.
part of the gifts we are giving to parents who attended this conference and who came on early according to our criteria is a book written by Coach Enemy. In fact, I am getting that for my children too. I will also be giving out a few to parents who met those criteria. Thank you so much for this amazing session. Like I always say,
Thank you, ma'am.
foundationally, emotional intelligence is the beginning of raising any human being. Because the moment you lose it with your emotions,
Absolutely.
your head will go gaga. You will never be able
That
to
is
put
it.
things into perspective. You will never ever be able to put things into perspective. You will constantly struggle. And that's why this journey is, like she said, is a constant thing. Like you keep seeking knowledge, you keep seeking knowledge, you keep seeking knowledge, right?
Yeah.
There's never a time that you can sit back and say, oh no, let me cross my leg. As at any phase and developmental stage of your children, you need a higher knowledge that matches that level. And I am so
Yeah.
grateful to you. So grateful to you. Thank you so much. We'll be
Thank
sharing
you for
Coach
the gift.
Enemy's details also across our platforms. She has amazing resources that you can also walk your journey with them. I love the way David Folarimi said it 2 days ago. You don't go for training, you don't take courses, you don't pay for everything. We don't have money, but we have money for wig, we have money for all other frivolities, except the one that will help us walk through a lifetime journey, which is why
Yeah.
we don't understand the place of priority right? I tell people, I tell friends and everyone around me, the priorities before me now actually deprives me from doing those things you want me to do, buying those things you want me to buy. There are things that are for this season, and it is basically the things that will help me grow and the things that will help the children grow. At some point, the priorities might change, but to the
Yeah.
essence of the things that will help us build what we want to build according to our vision, no, no. So please, we'll be getting Coach Enemy's details, all the places we can get in touch with her resources, aside the one we are giving out after the conference, all other resources like Understanding Your Child. That's also one of the books that I feel every parent needs to read, because I tell my children, I want you to know yourself from the place of knowledge, knowing your child, your brother or your sister from the place of this is my sister's person, right? It will eliminate all the
Yeah.
comparison, all the fights, all the struggles that parents actually trigger, because we are the ones that trigger these things. So it is important that you stay tuned, stay glued. After the conference, we'll be sharing the one we're getting from her for all our children, for people who meet our criteria. And then for people who didn't meet it, you can, from her details, you get in touch with her and find out how you can also get those resources. Thank you so much, Ma, for honoring this invitation. Coach Enemy is the
Thank you,
Proactive
ma'am.
Parent Academy friend. This year, she's the resource person for one of our courses, one of our courses that is so dear to us. So she's not a new person in the academy. She's a part and parcel of the academy, and we are grateful to her. Thank you so very much. We
Thank
will
you,
reach
ma'am.
out later and get
Thank you.
all the details, and then we can share across our platform. I'm not seeing any
Fine,
question
ma'am.
directly for you. People are thanking you and raving you and greetings for the amazing session. God bless you and send our regards to the family. We are grateful. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Should I
So, people, this brings to an end today's session. It's been an amazing one before Nigeria happened to us at this end. We are grateful, we are moving, we are pushing, no matter the distractions, no matter the turbulence on the road. These are part of the challenges we encounter daily as human beings. And not backing down is a way of showing our children how to be resilient. Resilience is a powerful skill. Resilience and grit is one of the things that will motivate our children to keep pushing till they get to the top, to the heights where God wants them to get. And but for the records, no height is the stopping point. You keep, no matter where you are, there's another height greater than that. That's why resilience and grit is required. Not when anything less than what you expected happens, you fall in, right? So thank you again for joining this last session. We are grateful to have every one of you in this session. We look forward to see you again tomorrow in the next day 5 session and warming up for the last day on Friday. God bless you. Thank you, everyone, and do have an amazing night rest. See you tomorrow.